Both systems use the same infrastructure and approach. The difference lies in the fact that the Internet is text-based, whereas the World Wide Web can use high-quality graphical information to support the text.
Having successfully completed those two newsgroup messages, we can go on to have a look at the World Wide Web. What I've done here is to use something called a web browser, in this case Netscape, and I'm accessing all these World Wide Web sites via my own website, which is called ProcoNet. The first page just starts with a very brief introduction as to what ProcoNet is. And then I can move quickly into the index page, which gives me access to all the major subject topics there that I can access as I wish. Let's just have a look at the Proco News Bites page, which is really just a short series of summaries taken from press headlines, which brings me up to date with some of the strategic issues happening in the industry at the moment. And then I can go back to the index page and have a look at some entries on the UK property industry page. I'd like first of all to look at MEP's website, which gives details of their subsidiary Lansdowne Estates development at Milton Park in Oxford. And this is really looking at how the web can be used for advertising and marketing. And I'm going to have a look at the business campus pages. This is quite a nice demonstration of how photographic images can be used on the World Wide Web, which brings the whole thing to life. And by going into Introduction to Milton Park, I can see a fair bit more detail and graphical detail of what's actually available there. These sections of coloured text are actually called hypertext links, and by clicking on each of those will take me to a related web page specifically dealing with the information that's contained within those individual pages. Okay, I can return to the index page, which is always my base starting point, and I can have a look what's happening elsewhere in the UK. I can have a look at a number of firms that are listed on the World Wide Web and those which have websites. The ones in blue currently have websites. A few well-known names there. And then I can see what's happening in the States. I actually want to look today at the New York Real Estate Board. And by clicking on the hypertext link will take me to their computer in the States, and then we should see their homepage coming up, which will first of all give me a basic description as to what the New York Real Estate Board is, what it does, and also provide me with a series of hypertext links relating to different subjects which they feel might be of interest. Turn again to the index page. I'm going back to the UK construction industry page, and again have a look and see who's listed there. A couple of well-known names already have websites, as you can see. And then I'm going to move on to a colleague of mine, Richard Morris Associates homepage, where Richard has created his own web page in order to demonstrate what his interests are on the World Wide Web and what his business has to offer.
Obviously, we have a marketing policy as a company. We have our usual advertising routes by advertising directories, direct mail shots and the like, but something a bit different and really trying to be the first people onto the net, the first construction consultants at least. We decided that what we'd go for was a web page that some people could access by their computer and download information about us, some marketing information, and a bit more. For instance, my CV is held on my web page. To do this, it was quite simple because for the cost of about a quarter of a quarter-column advert in a normal directory, I've got pages of information there that are there for people to take if they need to or if they want to. I found putting my web page together quite easy, which was a surprise to me as I'm not a terribly creative person, but with the assistance of some free software and some other cheap graphical software, I've been able to put together something which at least performs a function. It's not terribly interesting to those who aren't in the industry, I grant you. But having said that, it was fairly easy to put together. Other companies who might want to have a more professional image can also go to their internet service providers, some of whom, such as KickZip and Global Internet, will offer to design your web page for you on a time basis at quite a modest fee, really. Whilst it's obviously difficult to quantify with any reasonable accuracy how much good your advertising has done for you, at least with an internet web page, depending on your service provider, they can provide you with statistics as to how many times your page has been loaded. Or in my case, I've also got a counter, so that every time the page is loaded, the counter moves on 1. I know that it's actually reaching some of my market because I've had some contacts from the United States, from Canada, and one from Europe who's wanted to ask a bit more about what I do and to try and develop some form of overall strategy for the long term.